Hello. Tonight, we're going over selling on Etsy. My name's Kelly Ward. I've been selling online since 2014. I've sold on multiple platforms, including Etsy. And tonight we're just going to go over some basics on selling Etsy, how to list, and some tools that you can use to increase your sales on Etsy. So let's go to the next slide. A little history on Etsy. Etsy began in 2005. Was created in a Brooklyn apartment by three gentlemen. Their original vision was for it to be an online platform for craftsmen to sell their goods. I mean, eBay was out there, but that was more like a garage sale. That's what everyone thinks of eBay. It's the garage sale of the internet. Etsy has over 2.1 million sellers and over 39 million buyers worldwide. And it has over 80 countries that you can that people buy on Etsy from, with 70% of the sales that on Etsy come from the US. So that means about 30% of the sales are from international buyers. So it's worldwide and you can reach worldwide. Okay, next slide. Kind of go against Etsy versus eBay, but many eBay sellers also cross-post items that can go on Etsy if it's able to be listed on Etsy, because Etsy is very, you can only list certain things on Etsy. You can't list everything on there. But I do find I have listed stuff on Etsy and eBay, same item, and I sold it on Etsy for more than what I had it listed for on eBay. So Etsy's a good place. You know, the buyers are willing to pay more for stuff on Etsy. Let's compare the two. So eBay has a marketplace with over 150 million active buyers. They make it easy to list, even though some people don't like their listing, the way to list, but it's kind of easy to list, and their back office or selling manager makes it easy for selling and straightforward once you've figured it out and learn it. But their fees do vary depending on what you're listing and if you want to do promotions or not. And a lot of people don't like eBay because of all the fees. Etsy, on the other hand, has a smaller marketplace, about 46.35 million active buyers. But they have you attract a different audience there on Etsy. They don't mind paying a little bit more for the items they're looking for. The site is more like a boutique focused. You can build your brand with your Etsy shop. Lot of repeat buyers on Etsy because they bought something from before, or they can favorite your store, and anytime you list something, they get a notification that you've listed this new item in your store. So they kind of can follow and see what you're listing. And Etsy fees are a little lower than eBay fees. We'll go more into that later on down the road when we talk about fees. So let's set up shop. To get started, you have to, what you need to know before you get started, you need to know what do you sell, and do those products that you have fall into the specific categories that are sold on Etsy. Etsy, you can sell handmade items, but I think I have that coming next slide, so I'll hold off on that. And also you got to figure out who is your target audience. So we'll go over that in the next couple of slides. Next slide. So what can you sell on Etsy? Handcrafted items. So these are stuff that you make. You can't go out and go to a craft show and buy a bunch of arts and crafts items and resell it on your Etsy shop. You have to make them yourself. When you're listing your item, we're gonna go over this later. It asks you who made the item. Vintage items. You can have items that are 20 years old and older. So anything 2000 and below. And you're like, 2000 doesn't sound like it's vintage. It is. It's vintage. So anything 2000 below is considered vintage. You can go on Etsy. You can sell craft supplies like needlepoint kits and beads and jewelry making stuff. You can sell those. There's also print on demand. I believe it's called Printify. You can connect to your Etsy shop and design your own T-shirts and mugs and bags and such. Like if you want to if you draw, make artwork, and you want to put that on a T-shirt, you can use that with Printify. You can, design your own custom mugs. So you can do that on Etsy. But that's what you can sell on Etsy. So who are your buyers on Etsy? So 92% of Etsy buyers shop on Etsy because they believe that they can find items on the site that aren't available anywhere else. So they want something handmade or handcrafted. So they want to look on Etsy to find something that is made by a jewelry maker. Maybe they want to find something, a specific jewelry for their parents, for their mom, for Mother's Day or Christmas. About 34% of the sales are international, and 55% of Etsy's gross monthly sales are done via mobile devices. So you have to make sure that when you do your listings that you make them mobile friendly. So that's who your buyers are. And it's usually women, mostly women. There are some men, but it's mostly women who do shopping on Etsy. So getting ready, setting up your shop. You go in, you sign up for an Etsy account, and as a seller, you come up with your information, your name, your business information. You have to connect your bank account because when you get paid, it goes to your bank account. It doesn't go into PayPal, it goes into a bank account. So you have to have a business bank account. So make sure you keep your business money separate from your personal money. It's easier for your accountant. If you have an accountant or if you do your taxes, it's easier to keep it all separate that way. You want to have a nice name for your shop. Because like I said, you want to brand your shop, and they don't have Joe 12796 shop. You kind of have you want to make up a nice name for your shop, and you can design your logo. When you come onto your shop, you're gonna have like a shop cover, which is like a big, I use Canva to do mine. It's free, easy to use, and you can, like, if you're planning to sell vintage books, I'm sorry, maybe you find one and you find a design with books on it, and then you come up with your a little icon logo that you use, and you put your shop on there too. I also used this Canva. I used it for my eBay logo and the logo I use for other platforms. So you have to come up with a design because you want to brand yourself on there because it's more boutique. It's not like Amazon where people don't even know that people can set other, that it's not Amazon that's shipping, they're buying from. So let's get listing. So you don't need a fancy setup or kit, or a fancy camera. I use my smartphone for all of my pictures, even eBay. I use my smartphone for Amazon pictures. I don't see the need of using a fancy camera. I probably get lost trying to use one, but anyway. Good lighting, I use daylight light bulbs. And you use white poster board for the background or a white sheet, or I use a dark color sheet for white items so they pop out better. It's just, you don't need to have hundreds of dollars of photography equipment to start out with. Next slide. So I just go to a little bit the way different ways people list. Some people could do what they call batch listing, where they do everything in chunks. Like one day they prep all the stuff they plan to list. Maybe one day they make all of the, if they're doing handcrafted items, to make what they plan to list, and make a couple of different ones so that they can make different listings. And then the next day they do the photos, and then the next day they do the listings. Or like I sell vintage items. I might do one day where I go and clean everything, make sure it's all clean, and I check it all over for any defects and such. And then the next day I do the photos, and then the next day I do the listings. So that's batch listing. Single listing is where you take one item, you prep it, photo, and list it one item at a time. Some people like to do that because they don't want to, it's just easier for them to not get lost in trying to do batching. Or if they have, a busy life, it's just easier sometimes just to grab one item and do it all at once, and then put it away, put it where they store their inventory, and it's done. And there's cross-posting. Cross-posting is listing your item on multiple sites, if allowed. Like I can list a Pyrex bowl. I can list that on eBay. I can list it on Etsy, and then I might list it on Mercari. I might list it on, I don't know, another site that, was at Ruby Lane, which is like for vintage items. So, and there's also some cross-posting software out there like Vindu and List Perfectly that will, you put it in that, on that software, and it lists for you on 5 different sites. So you don't have to sit there and have to copy and paste and everything. If you have a lot of stuff, that makes it a lot easier. They do cost some money. So maybe if you're just starting out, you might not want to do the cross posting. It's better just to learn one platform at a time before you go on and try to tackle 5 platforms. All right, next one, we're gonna start listing. I'm gonna go kind of step by step because it is a little different on Etsy to do listings. We're gonna start with this. We're listing this little vintage teddy bear. He's a Ralph Lauren Polo teddy bear from 2000, so he is vintage. And now we're going to work on him. This is the picture I took. It's not, I would prefer, I need to change the light bulbs. Whoever put the light bulbs in that room decided to put regular light bulbs instead of my daylight light bulbs. So he's white, but he looks cream, yellow. You can see how lighting can, make your item not look like it's supposed to. Next one. Okay, using that. Okay, I use my app a lot to list. Some people like to take their pictures and then upload them to the computer. I just keep them on my phone and list from my phone. So this is what it looks like to list from the phone. The desktop looks pretty much like this too. Sometimes what I do is I'll start my listing on the phone, upload my folder, my photos, and then add a couple of things, and then go to my computer and finish it. So you go to the listing setting, and you click on there's a little plus sign, and that's how you add a new listing to the top to start a new listing. Now, up here in the top box, it asks about the item. Who made the item? And there's three choices. Either I did, a member of my shop, if you have like a large company that makes handcrafted items, or another company or person. For the teddy bear, that's going to be another company or person, because I did not make that teddy bear. Ralph Lauren or whoever they hired out, they made the teddy bear. So I choose another company or person. Then it'll ask you about the item. When was it made? Is it a made to order handcrafted item? Is it something you made recently, or is it vintage? So I chose 2000 because that's when that teddy bear was made, in the year 2000. And then they'll ask you for a category belongs in. We went under toys for this, and then there's a subcategory for plush animals with teddy bears. That's the category that teddy bear went to. All right, next. Now you put in tags for your item. This is something different. With Amazon, you might put in keywords, but eBay, you really don't do this. But tags are keywords that describe your item that Etsy uses to that when the buyer searches for it to pop up with relevant results. So you're allowed to use 13 tags, and they don't have to be one word. They could be a small 2-word phrase. There is like a certain amount of characters you can use. So let me see if there's, how many we have in here? I want to see if anyone can help me make some tags. I made 13 tags when I listed this item. I want to see if anyone can come up with some tags to come with this teddy bear. So do we have a chat? So like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say for myself, the tags I used were like vintage teddy bear, Ralph Lauren, polo bear, vintage toys, and he had jointed arms, which arms and legs, which a lot of people who collect teddy bears might look for. So I had jointed legs. Those were the kind of tags I used. Got kind of like a description of my item. And then also with Etsy, there's a site called eRank that you can use for Etsy SEO, keyword research, and trend reports, and to see who the top sellers are. There's a free version, and then you can upgrade to a paid version. I used the free version, and it grades your tags, that how much competition does your keywords have, so you can see how you would rank in the selling, in the search. So after your tags, and you do these steps to fit, you add your photos, you add in your description, and then I always make sure you include any measurements, because that saves you, because especially vintage clothes. There's a vintage medium from 1975 is not going to be the same as a medium nowadays. Nowadays you buy medium in one brand and they don't fit like the medium in the other brand. So you need to put those measurements in, especially with clothes. Add in your price. In Etsy, you cannot look up sold like eBay. So sometimes I will kind of go to eBay and search it and see what it's sold for on eBay, and then I'll go and search it on Etsy to see if there's an item comparable to that and see what it's selling for on there, what they have it listed for on there, and kind of base my price off of that. And add your shipping. Etsy heavily suggests free shipping for anything over $35. If not, they kind of push your listings down in the search if you don't offer the free shipping for anything over $35. So my lower items, I usually do charge shipping. That's free shipping in the United States. You can still charge shipping internationally. So if I have something that's over $35, I might figure out it's going to cost this much, and I'll add that shipping into my price. And then I'll charge shipping separate for international sales. And then you save, and they call it publish your listing. They call it publishing your listing. So it doesn't sound like much, but that doing the tags is the thing that's quite different than any other selling platform I've sold on. And we'll go over the fees real quick. So for Etsy, there's a listing fee for every item. It's 20 cents per listing. The listing is up for 4 months, and then it goes off. Either you can have it set for auto renew, which means it'll be charged another 20 cents and go for another 4 months. Or you can choose to renew it yourself, and maybe after 4 months and it hasn't sold, maybe you want to change some things up and see if that will help it, sell. And transaction fees. Etsy collects 5% of the total item cost when it sells. Then if you charge a customer a separate shipping cost, Etsy also collects a 5% of the total shipping charge. And then there's also the payment processing fee, which is a set rate plus a percentage of the total sales, the price per item, kind of like a PayPal fee. If you sell on eBay, you can carry about the PayPal fees. It's like the PayPal fee. But the rate and the percentage vary by country. But for the United States, it is 3% plus 25 cents. Those are your Etsy fees, not including if you do any paid advertising. And also, there's a thing that Etsy that offers off-site ads. If you have a store that sells over 10K in a year, you're required to be in this off-site ads program, and it's a 12% fee for anything that sells from one of these off-site ads. If you have a store that doesn't sell 10K a year, then it is optional. You could opt out, and the fee for selling something that through one of those off-site ads is 15%. So that can add up. That can really change how much you make off an item, because that's 15% on top of the 5%, not added together. So that's a big chunk. All right, next we're going to talk about SEO and traffic, how to use Pinterest and Facebook and such to drive more traffic to your items. All right. So in the back office, in your little back office dashboard, you will call it, there's lots of great information. There's traffic sources. It's like up here, that first picture up there. It tells you how many visits and where they came from. Did they come from an Etsy app, Etsy search, direct traffic from social media, ads, And marketing, where did your customers find you? Account activity, which is like views versus visits. So views is like people just kind of seeing your item when they're looking, and visits means they actually clicked on your item to see it better. How shoppers find you, the search terms, that's down here in the second box. What search terms are people using to find your stuff in your shop? Like this bone china teapot. I had this beautiful teapot in my shop. Vintage long sleeve t-shirt. This is what people are searching for, and so it kind of gives you an idea of what you need to source or what what you need to list, as this is what people are looking for. And then there's your open orders, which are orders that need to be fulfilled. Messaging, so you can message with your customers. Sometimes they might have questions, or they were like, I need this sent. This is going to be a gift. Make sure it's packaged real good. There's marketing, where you can do paid ads via Etsy. You could like set up a budget, say I want to do $5 a day, and they will do ads to promote your item. And then there's a area to sign up for Square, like if you do craft shows and you want to be able to sell your items that you have on Etsy at the craft show, that you can sign up for a Square, so you can take credit cards at the craft show. So that's some of the stuff that's in the back office. And I want to talk about getting traffic to your listings. I'm very much on getting free traffic. I don't like to pay much more than I have to. So you can share your listings on social media sites like Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. I do that. As soon as I list my item, you could click on your item, and there's a share button. I hit share, and I share it to Pinterest. I have a Etsy board on my Pinterest account, and I pin it to my Etsy board. So people love to look at Pinterest, and all those keywords that are with your item go to Pinterest with it. So if they're looking for teddy bears, they can go to Pinterest, look up teddy bears, and if it's close to what they're looking for, it pops up. With Instagram, you can sometimes I'll do like a post of, and I'll list five. If I list 5 things, I'll take those 5 pictures, put them on Instagram. These are my new items on Etsy, and then use hashtags to go along with those 5 items, so I can really pinpoint the audience I want to find. So I can pinpoint the teddy bear collectors. I can pinpoint the people who want vintage glassware. I can pinpoint the people who want a vintage t-shirt. You can go after those audience. And with Twitter, you can use the hashtags there too. You could have a Facebook page for your Etsy shop. And then anytime you list something new in your Etsy store, go ahead and put the link, put that in on your Facebook page. Newly listed my Etsy shop. And you can have people will follow your Etsy shop on Facebook, and they will see those new listings and might come over to your store if they find something they like. Running sales on Etsy. You can run sales on Etsy just like eBay, and you could do the Etsy ads and promoted listings in the off-site Etsy ad program, which I talked about. And then I talked about eRank before, but you can see what eRank, you can see what keywords are better for your listings, because they grade them for you. They'll tell you no one's looking for this keyword you put in. let's figure out another, keyword that which is better. And you can go and revise your listing and edit it and put in better keywords to get it seen better. So you want to get traffic to your website, to the Etsy, to your shop. All right. Keep your metrics up. So you want to set a realistic shipping and handling time so you can ship on time, because you don't want to have a lot of late shipping on your Etsy. You want to keep your customer happy because they want, they're used to getting it quick. They don't want to have to wait unless you let them know, hey, if you're making it something custom for them, they're going to be more relaxed about the shipping time because they realize that, it's going to take more time to do a custom job than it is to ship out a t-shirt you already had. Make sure you describe your items truthfully and have the correct measurements in them. You don't want to have some chips and cracks or whatnot, and they get to the customer and they're like, well, it got broke, and you're like, no, it was already broken like that. You have to make sure you describe your items truthfully. This is for any platform, basically. You want to do this all. You want to be responsive to your customers, if they message you, they have questions about items, and try to work with them if they have any problems or have questions that might arise with the order. So you want to make sure that you have good customer service and provide what they need. All right, next one. So having this great customer service could lead to repeat buyers. 81% of Etsy sales are made by repeat buyers, and they are hooked on Etsy when they're shopping. They like to find that unique stuff. You can brand your store, and you can have, with those logos that you made at the beginning, you can have business cards printed up and have it say thank you, and put that in with your sale, so that maybe they're like, oh, I'm gonna keep this business card because I like this this store. They had really good service, they shipped fast, and my item was like they described. So maybe they'll keep that card. I do on the outside of my packages for Etsy, I had stickers made up with my logo, with the little icon logo. I just had stickers made up. I put that on the outside. It's like a nice little touch for the customer. They see that their item has arrived. So it's kind of the basics of Etsy. It's different. I don't do handmade stuff, so I can't go deep into the handmade stuff, but I know that I've done the vintage and craft supplies. And it's, once you figure it out, it's not very hard to do. It's it's a great way to, if you have stuff that's on eBay, to go ahead and find other eyes to put it on by cross-posting onto Etsy. So, and next slide. So we say good luck. If you want to get out, use these tips to help you go out and start your own Etsy shop. If you want more great e-commerce training, check out the eCom Sellers Academy. And I'm sure Nicole has a lot more to say about that.
No, I would just say this. Definitely join eCom Sellers Academy. If you're not part of any e-commerce groups, or you need some level of support, we do have a free Facebook group, which is eCom Sellers Mastermind. You can join that absolutely free. And in the future, we're going to have some free trainings in there. So if you purchase this training series, you already got the first training recording or gained access to it for the Walmart training. And if you registered late, I literally just emailed it out to those people who registered later. Today was Etsy, and Friday, I believe, is Shopify. So if you're wanting to learn about Shopify, come back on Friday, and because you've already paid and registered, you will have access to the Shopify training on Friday. And then we start a new series the following week, which I believe is private label and white label. And so I'm looking forward to those as well. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I apologize for the delay in getting started, and we appreciate your grace and mercy. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can definitely type them in the chat right now and let us know what your questions are. I'll wait about a minute, and if I don't have any questions, then we want to thank you for participating, and hopefully you'll get started. Definitely diversify your business. Get started in e-commerce right now. Get started on Etsy for sure.
Mhm.
Bye.